What is going on, guys? It's Beating the Bookie, and I am here with our first PGA preview video of the season. We head to Bay Hill, Orlando area this week for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Always one of the toughest non majors of the year. We usually see a pretty big name win here. It's a very tough course, and depending on how the wind plays, this course can be very, very tough. So usually we just have to wait until the tournament starts until we see what the wind does, because as we know in Florida, the forecast changes, the wind can change very rapidly. So let's take a look. The Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. It's always one of the strongest non-major fields on the PGA Tour. Obviously, it is a signature event this year. It's where true ball strikers and guys who lead in greens and regulation and who scramble under pressure separate themselves. That's why we usually see a big name win here, right? We've seen Scotty Scheffler win here twice the last 4 years. We have seen Russell Henley win here last year. We did see a lesser known name win here a few years ago with Kurt Kitayama. But besides that, we do see pretty big names win here. Bryson DeChambeau has won in the past, right? So we usually see a pretty big golfer win here. And I don't think that trend will stop this year. Now, obviously, we're going to see a big name golfer win here usually because, now it's a signature event. So you really only get the good names, the best of the PGA Tour that come here, right? Because the field is limited. So only the better golfers are here. So you don't get surprising winners like you do in some no-name PGA events. But let's take a look at this tournament. The favorite is, of course, Scotty Scheffler, number one golfer in the world. He's plus 335 to win it. Scotty's been struggling lately. He's been struggling on opening rounds. Been pretty terrible the last month opening rounds. Having some of his worst rounds of the last few years in his opening rounds the last month. With that said, he is coming back like gangbusters and making a run on the weekend and coming up just short. So he is getting better over the next 3 rounds, but we're seeing him struggle to where he has a fight to make the cut like he did at the Genesis a few weeks ago. He ultimately came in 12th, but he did fight back to barely making the cut on the number, where he actually made a 8-footer on the 36th hole to make the cut. If he would have missed it, he would have been out, but he made it. So Scotty Scheffler, I think he's going to emphasize starting fast this week. Not sure what's going on with him lately because obviously that's very unlike Scotty Scheffler. He's one of the best first-round averages on tour. So this season's been a little unlike him. Next to Scotty Scheffler, we got Rory McIlroy, plus 890, plus 900. Depending on where you look, Rory has done well here. He has got 4 top 15s the last 5 years. His worst finish here in the last 5 years was tied for 21st. So Rory plays this course very well, obviously, as the best golfers usually do. And, this course really favors someone who stays out of the rough because the rough here can be very penal. It's a very thick rough, and, the wind can be brutal here at times, and it's designed to play tough. Arnold Palmer designed this place to play tough. They always say it's one of the bigger tests of the PGA season. So Rory, he's plus 900. Next you have Tommy Fleetwood, plus 1700. Tommy's coming off a 7th and a 4th at the Genesis and Pebble Beach. He got 11th here last year. He missed the cut in 2024, 61st in 23, 20th in 22, and 10th in 2021. So he's got 2 top 11s the last 5 years, 3 top 20s the last 5 years. Tommy is actually coming in playing some, pretty solid golf with the, two top 7 finishes his last 2 tournaments. And, Tommy is leading the tour right now on putting. He's right up there on around the green, fairways in regulation, birdies per round. He's right up there. So Tommy's having a great start to his 2026 season. And he is the third favorite at plus 1,700. Next, you have Xander, plus 2050. Xander 40th here last year, 25th and 39th. So the best he's done here in the last 3 years is 25th place. He got 7th at the Genesis, 19th at Pebble Beach, 41st at the Waste Management, and he missed the cut at the Farmers. Xander, I have no interest in backing him at all. He's been pretty poor the last over a year coming off of his injury. He's just not very consistent. He might have a good round here and there, but his consistency is very troubling. So I probably won't be on Xander at all, unless I'm fading him in a matchup, of course. Next, we have Matt Fitzpatrick. And I'm not a big Matt Fitzpatrick fan, but Matt Fitzpatrick, he's playing pretty well to start this season. He got 24th at the Genesis, 19th at Pebble Beach, 14th at Pebble Beach, and 9th at the Waste Management. He got 22nd here last year. He missed the cut in 2024. 14th in 2023, 9th and 10th in 2022 and 2021. So he has 4 top 22s his last 5 years here. He did miss the cut in 2024, but that's when he was playing some very poor golf. So I actually like Matt Fitzpatrick in this spot. He's just playing consistent to start the year, and that's really what you want to you want to see coming into these events. I like him minus 135 for a top 20. Now you have to remember there's a limited field this week, so there's not the 140 something golfers we usually get. So I like Matt Fitzpatrick, top 20 minus 135. Next we've got Colin Morikawa, 7th place last week, and he won in Pebble Beach for his first win in over 3 years. He got 2nd here last year. He missed the cut the previous 2 years. Colin's playing the best that he's played in the last few years. I just don't know if I'm really ready to support his consistency. His putting has been pretty bad. He's near the bottom of the PGA Tour right now in putting, and that can be very troubling at this course. So I probably won't be backing Colin this week. I probably won't be fading him either. It's probably just like a no play for me because he has been playing better, but his putting has just been so bad, and his bogeys per round so bad. I can't bring myself to back him. But he is plus 2,700. Next, we have Siwoo Kim plus 2,800. Siwoo across the board, he's been leading the PGA in a lot of categories. Off the tee, approach, fairways and regulation, bogeys per round, bogey avoidance per round. I mean, he's leading the league. He's right up there towards the top of the PGA in all those categories. He has got 34th last week, 45th at Pebble Beach, 3rd at the Waste Management, 2nd at the Farmers, 19th here last year, 30th in 2024, 39th, 26th in a withdrawal in 2021. So his history here is not great. He's got 1 top 20 the last 5 years, and he's minus 120 to make the top 20. So I probably won't be playing him in that spot. I don't think there's very much value for his course history here. I think this is one of those courses where it's a horses for courses, right? Guys who play well here usually play well here. So I will be passing on Siwoo Kim. Then next we have Hideki Matsuyama, plus 3,100. Hideki, he's near the top of the PGA around the greens and bogey avoidance. But besides that, he's been pretty poor. Off the tee, terrible, right? We saw him, lose the tournament at Pebble Beach because he was so terrible off the tee, right? He blew that big lead and, just awful off the tee where he couldn't get anything going. He couldn't find one fairway. I think he found 2 fairways at an 18 in the final round. So his driver is just not there right now. I know he changed his drive a little bit. He changed his stance, but he obviously has no confidence off the driver right now. And I think that will hurt him here because if you don't find fairways here, you're going to be in trouble. So I'll definitely be fading Hideki this weekend because though he does have a good history here, he has 3 top 20s his last 5 years here. The way he's driving the ball right now, I just can't bring myself to back him, right? Because if you don't find fairways here, you're going to be in trouble. So I'll be passing on Hideki Matsuyama unless I'm fading him. Next, we have Cameron Young. He's plus 100 for a top 20. He's plus 3,100. Cam got 7th at the Genesis. He got 55th at the Pebble Beach, 41st at the Waste Management, 22nd at the Farmers. He missed the cut here last year, 36th, 10th, and 13th. So he's got 2 top 13s his last 4 years here. But his last top 10 here was in 2023. Cam seems to be playing a little more consistent than he has the last few years, but I just probably won't find myself backing Cam Young in this spot either. The consistency scares me, and he's very low in fairways and regulation. So he's also not finding fairways off the tee. So just not a guy I'm looking to back with those characteristics right now at this course. Next, we have a guy that I'm willing to back, right? Russell Henley, plus 3,200, minus 108 for a top 20 finish, plus 225 for a top 10. I like that top 10 price, so I'll probably be playing top 10, and I'll definitely be playing top 20 at minus 108. He's one of the leaders right now in fairways and regulation. So he's been very good, in a few categories, greens and regulations, birdies per round. He's right up near the middle to the top of the PGA, so he's playing well to start the year. He did miss the cut at the Genesis. He got 19th at Pebble Beach, and he did not play the Waste Management or the Farmers, but he won here last year. He got 4th the year before, 53rd here in 2023, and 13th in 2022. So he's got 3 top 13s in the last 4 years here. I like Russell Henley, minus 108. He beat me here last year, so I like Russell Henley to, I think there's a lot of value at that plus 3,200 number, as opposed to a guy like Scotty Scheffler, who's 3-1. I'd rather take Henley at 32-1 for the value. So I like Russell Henley to win it, top 10 and top 20. Next, we have Jake Knapp. Obviously, Jake is coming off, a decent year last year, where we saw him win another event. His putting has been great this year, near the top of the PGA. To start this year, he's got 4 top 8s in his last 4 events: 6th, 8th, and 5th. So he's playing great. He didn't play here last year. He got 57th in 2024. And he did not play here before that. So he's only played this course once the last 5 years, or once in his career. And like I said, Jake is having a great year to start this year. But with his course history here, only playing this once in his career in a 57th place finish that time out, I just don't think that justifies a plus 108 for a top 10. So Jake may play well, but the numbers just don't show me backing him at this course. So I'll be staying away from Jake Knapp at 35-1 and plus 108 for a top 20. I will be staying off of him. Next, we got Patrick Cantlay, plus 3,500. Patrick, he's doing pretty much every category this year, mediocre. Not playing terrible, not playing well, just playing pretty average, right? 37th last week. 37th 2 weeks ago at the Genesis, 14th at Pebble Beach. He missed the cut at the Farmers. 31st here last year, 36th the year before, 4th in 2023. So he's got 3 top 36s his last 3 years, but I don't think his play this season really inspires any confidence. So unless I'm fading him, I will definitely be passing on Patrick Cantlay. Next, we got Robert McIntyre, Bobby Mack, 36-1. He's one of the best putters on tour this year. He is near the top of the PGA in birdies per round and bogey avoidance. 20th at the Genesis, 37th at Pebble Beach, 11th place here last year in his first time out. He's plus 110 for a top 20 finish. He might be worth a little bit there, so I might sprinkle him there. But winning this event, of course he can always put together a good run where he can win an event, but I don't see it for Bobby Mack this week. So if I play anything for him, it's a top 20 finish at plus 110. Next, we have a guy that I'm just fading, right? Just fading out every week this week, right? Every week this year so far. Ludwig, plus 3,600, plus 120 for a top 20 finish. He's not really doing, a lot great this year. He is near the bottom of the PGA in bogey avoidance. 20th at the Genesis, 37th at the Pebble Beach. Uh, just not doing anything well. Missed the cut of the Farmers. 22nd here last year, 25th in 2024, and 24th in 2023. I think he's nursing an injury. I just don't think something's right with him. He's starting out these tournaments very slowly, so he's coming very slow out the gates. And right now, Ludwig just does nothing for me. So I won't be playing Ludwig unless it's a fade. Following him, we got Harris English plus 3,800 or plus 110 for a top 20 finish. Off the tee, Harris has been one of the best on tour this year. Putting, pretty good. He's right up there on like the 90th percentile. And he's up there in the 80th percentile in greens and regulations, birdies, and bogey avoidance. Harris has got 22nd at the Genesis, 24th at the Waste Management, 28th at Pebble Beach, and 22nd at the Farmers. So he's got 3 top 28s this year. Missed the cut here last year. He's playing some poor golf at that time. 21st here in 2024 and second here in 2023. So, those were bigger fields in 2023 than they are now. So I think in this field, there's definitely, with the smaller field, I think there's definitely value in Harris English, top 30, top 20, if you want to take a look at that. Winning outright, I doubt I will be taking him in this position. Next, we got Victor Hovland, plus 3,900 or plus 120 for a top 20. Victor, his approach has been, near the top of the PGA this year, but it's off the tee. Terrible. Near the bottom of the PGA. He just cannot find a drive to save his life. He's trying all these different swing mechanics and all these different, practice warm-up techniques, a lot of drills and stuff. He just has no confidence in his game right now. So Victor, he did miss the cut here last year, 36th in 2024, and 10th and 2nd 2 years before that. He has played decent here, but his current game, I just don't see any reason to back him in this spot. The next golfer, Chris Gotterup, 40-1. I'm pretty surprised we're getting these numbers 40-1 on a guy like Chris Gotterup still. Plus 120 for a top 20 finish. Chris missed the cut at the Genesis, 37th at Pebble Beach. He won the Waste Management. He got 18th at the Farmers. He's got 2 wins already, I believe, to start this year. He's never played this event. But I think that Chris, is a guy who can, be one of those guys that can challenge Scotty to win on a weekly basis. I think he's slept on right now. I think he's very underrated, and he's very consistent. And when Chris Gotterup gets hot, he can get hot and play with anybody. I think he kind of reminds me of like a younger Brooks Koepka. I think he's got all the confidence in the world right now. So I like Chris Gotterup, top 20 plus 120 and 40-1. If you can pick him up 40-1 to win this event, I do like that for like a half unit or something like that, because when Chris starts playing well, he gets that confidence. And he's shown he's a guy that can go wire to wire. So I like Chris Gotterup. I think he's definitely a better number at plus 4,000 than Siwoo Kim at 28-1, Hideki 31-1, Cam Young 31-1, right? Jake Knapp 35-1. I think Chris Gotterup at 40-1 is a much better value play than all those other guys. So I do like Chris Gotterup. Kurt Kitayama, former winner here, obviously 2023. He won this event. 40-1 plus 120 for a top 20 finish. Kirk is playing, some pretty good golf right now. Second place at the Genesis, 48th at Pebble Beach, 24th at the Waste Management. And I think he's got his confidence back. Last week he was putting it unreal with the putter last week. He played some really good golf. He's near the top of the PGA and strokes gained, off the tee approach, greens and regulation, bogey avoidance. He's near the top of the PGA, and I think his putting, last week we saw it really come alive. So I think not Chris Gotterup. I think Kurt Kitayama top 20 plus 120. I think there's some, pretty good value there when you factor in the limited field. So I do like Kirk Kitayama plus 120 for top 20. You got Sam Burns after that. Ben Griffin, who Ben has had a little slower start to this season, compared to last. He's got 41st, 37th, 28th in his last three events. 45th here last year, missed the cut in 2024. 14th in 2023. Ben around the greens, he's near the top of the PGA bogey avoidance, but he's not making long putts. He's not making, a lot of birdies. I mean, per round, he's in the 80th, lower 80th percentile in birdies per round. I just don't see that confidence I saw him play with last year. So I just don't think that 42 to 1 number is big enough for me to bet right now. And I just don't think his confidence is there. When these guys play well and when they win, they get some confidence. And I just don't see that right now in Ben's game. Next, we got Min Woo Lee. He's coming off a 12th place at the Genesis, second at Pebble Beach. While Min Woo Lee is playing some good golf right now, very good golf, actually. He's missed the cut here 3 out of his last 4 years. The 1 year he made the cut, 44th place. So he has a very poor track record here. And like I said earlier, this is a course where it's horses for courses, right? And he just does not show that resume here where I can really back him. Next, we got Ricky. There's not much to say about Ricky. He seems like he's just one of those golfers that goes out every week and he finishes in the 30s. Does really nothing spectacular, just pretty average throughout the entire round. And, he does nothing to excite me. So I'll be passing on Ricky. Next, we got a guy that personally, this guy's on my shit list. And his course history here is very good. I just cannot find myself to back him this week. It makes me absolutely sick. Shane Lowry, who blew a 3-shot lead for us last week with 3 holes to go, blew a 1900 plus 1900 winner for us. So I'm very salty right now, to be honest. Second place last week, which is disgusting. 24th at the Genesis, 8th at Pebble Beach, 7th place here last year, 3 in 2024. Right, so usually I would say, hey, Shane Lowry, 47 to 1 to win this tournament. And he's coming off a second place finish, a 7th place here last year, and a 3rd the year before. A guy who was making all of his putts last week in the final round, pretty much rounds 3 and 4. Perfect, right? Perfect through 33 holes. You're thinking this guy's running away with this. He was minus 3,000 to win. And then the wheels just fell off, right? If he would have won last week, I would have gladly backed him 47 to 1 plus 130 for a top 20. I would have gladly backed that. He might finish top 20 this week plus 130. I just can't stomach betting him, though. So if you have the stomach to bet it, you can take Shane Lowry plus 130 for a top 20. Personally, I don't know if I can bring myself to it after last week, but he's a guy who's played well here. But where is his confidence right now, right? He said last week after the tournament, he threw it away. I had the win in my hands and I just threw it away. Well, what more can I say? I pissed it away, he said. I just can't back him. So I am off Shane Lowry. Even though I want to play him, I just can't. It just makes me sick to even think about his name. So Shane Lowry is just dead to me this week, not betting him. But if you didn't bet him last week and you're not sick, you might want to bet him at top 20. So I'll just say that. Justin Rose, he won the Farmers Invite, obviously. I thought he would come out hot after that, but he's kind of just gone the opposite way. He got 8th place here last year. He missed the cut the previous 3 years. So he's played this course a lot of times, but the consistency just isn't there. His approach right now and his birdies per round is great. We'll know all we need to know with Justin in the first round. If he starts out hot, he's going to have a good week. If not, he's just going to go into irrelevancy this week. But Justin Rose, if I bet Justin Rose, he's plays plus 4,900, right? If I bet Justin Rose this week, it's going to be first round leader. Because he's won quite a few first round leaders the last few years. And, if he starts out well, he's usually the first round leader. And he's been playing, some very good first rounds the last couple years. So I feel like Justin Rose is one of those names where you're like, damn, he was first round leader again. I knew I should have bet him. So I'll be playing Justin Rose not to win it, but to be the first round leader. because I think there's always potential. There's always value in Justin Rose first round leader because he's done it so many times. And he's played here so many times. Even though his sample size here is his resume is not great, he did finish 8th here last year. He's got a win this year, so I think Justin Rose first round leader kind of makes a little sense for like a quarter of a unit, something like that. And then we go Maverick McNeely 49-1, Ryan Gerard 52-1. Not doing nothing really much for me. Pearson Coody, Nikolai Højgaard, Jordan Spieth 55-1, right? Jordan Spieth, he's been good with part of this year, which he had lost the previous years. But his approach game, which he used to be one of the best, right? His approach game is terrible, right? Fairways and regulation at the bottom of the tour. Greens and regulation at the bottom of the tour. Bogey avoidance at the bottom of the tour. So Jordan is struggling. He's playing poorly. 12th at the Genesis, 29th at Pebble Beach, missed a cut at the Waste Management. 30th here last year, 4th and 4th the previous 2 times out here. So if you're going to play anything for Jordan Spieth, I could see a top 30 finish. Remember, that's a limited field this week, 72 golfers. So top 30, we're not really asking for a lot for Jordan Spieth, who has a pretty good track record here. Hasn't finished worse than 30th the last 5 years. So if you want to take a look at Jordan Spieth, top 30, you can do that. I co-sign that just because his familiarity with the course, kind of like the RBC Heritage, where he seems to do well, no matter how poorly he's playing coming in. I think Jordan Spieth, top 30, you can make a case for that. Justin Thomas, first event of the year coming off surgery, 36th year last year, 12th and 21st the previous 2 years. There's nothing really to say about Justin Thomas. Coming off that, I think, back or neck surgery, whatever it was. It's tough to support him here, obviously. I don't think many people are betting Justin Thomas this week, so just staying away from him. Maybe fading him, if anything. Then we got Sepp Straka, right? He is the worst on PGA Tour right now at bogey avoidance. Not doing anything well. His putting has been near the bottom of the tour. He's right down there with JJ Spawn for poor putting right now. Worse than Keegan. I've seen a lot of people on Sepp Straka this week just because the number is so big, 60-1. 5th place here last year. Missed the cut 3 of the last 5 years. 50th at the Genesis. 2nd at Pebble Beach. 18th at the Waste Management. Sepp is fully capable of winning this event, but his game is just in such a poor spot right now. It's just very tough to bet it. So, while I think 60-1 is a pretty good number on a guy who's shown he can win the last few years, I just don't think he's shown that consistency where I can really bet him at that number. So I'll be passing on Sepp. Keegan Bradley, spectacular form here, right? He's plus 150, 60-1 to be the top 20. Around the greens, he's been one of the best on tour this year. He missed the cut at the Genesis, 29th at the Pebble Beach, 43rd at the Farmers. His track record here is spectacular. 5th, 36th, 10th, 11th, and 10th. So he's got 4 top 11 finishes his last 5 years, right? I think there's definitely a case to be made for Keegan Bradley plus 150 for a top 20 finish. And if you can get him if you can get Keegan Bradley like minus 150 for a top 40 finish, I mean, we're talking about, that's like a potential max play. If you could get that number for a top 40 finish, because that would be, he only needs to beat like 30 people, right? And with his course history here, I think he can definitely do that. JJ Spawn, Jacob Bridgman, K. Batia, Jason Day, who's having a decent start to this year. Jason Day, 65-1 to win this week. 8th place here last year, 36th and 10th the previous 2 years. Jason's another guy that I just don't see him winning golf events anymore. I could see him grinding out a top 30 finish, but as far as winning, I think, outside of the Detroit Open, I think those days are pretty much, behind us. Although Jason's having a pretty solid year, I just don't see him winning, many events in the future. You got Keith Mitchell, 70-1, no thanks. Nick Taylor, Alex Noren. Then you're just going down a list for guys who I just don't really have very much confidence in. Look at Sung J M, right? 435 to 1, plus 300 for a top 20 finish. Sanjay's finished in the top 20 here 3 out of the last 4 years. He's got top 21 5 out of the last 5 years. So if you're looking for a play for Sanjay M, top 20 plus 300, I think there's some solid value there, even though he hasn't played the last 5 events on tour this season. Around the green, he's been good. But I just think if you look at his course history, horses for courses, this is a place where Sanjay M plays well. So if you want to take him top 30, I think that's great. Top 40, if you can get, plus 100, plus 120 for a top 40, I think that's a very good value because if you look at his track record here, he knows his place like the back of his hand. So if there's any place Sanjay can turn his game around, this is the spot, right? So Sanjay M top 30 or top 40, probably take it for a unit, maybe 2, and just hope that he has a good week, right? Outside of that, none of the other guys are pretty much worth talking about. But if I had to give you guys a couple plays from this, obviously I talked about Matt Fitzpatrick, top 20, minus 135. I like that. And then I like the Russell Henley, top 20, minus 108. And I'll be playing Russell Henley to win, plus 3,200. You might find odds better somewhere. I think these are just DraftKings odds. These are just from the PGA site. So plus 3,200 for Russell Henley to win it, minus 108, top 20. Matt Fitzpatrick, I'm not going to take him to win, but I will take him minus 135 for a top 20. And the final one I'm going to give you is Chris Goddard top 20, plus 120, and 40 to 1 to win. And I would play Chris Goddard first round leader, whatever that number is. I just don't have it on my screen right now. And I'll also be taking Justin Rose first round leader, whatever that number is. So those are the the free plays for this week, guys. I'll just say they're 1 unit each, but bet whatever you want on those, obviously. And the PGA plays will be out tomorrow night, Wednesday, March 4th. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd, 10:40 a.m. in the morning. And those are all I got for this week. So I hope you guys liked the first PGA preview of the year, the Arnold Palmer Invitational. You guys can go sign up for the package. It's on site $99.99. And you can use code PGA10 for 10% off. That's $99.99. Use code PGA10 for 10% off, guys. Have a great day and good luck in this tournament. Let's cash some tickets, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.